Unleash the power of knowledge and connect with the heartbeat of the African diaspora. Download our African Diaspora News Channel app now on Google Play and Apple App Store. Stay informed with authentic and diverse perspectives, breaking news, and cultural insights. Immerse yourself in a community that celebrates unity, resilience, and progress. Experience the vibrancy of the diaspora at your fingertips. Don't miss out. Empower your perspective today. Search African Diaspora News Channel and join the conversation. My name
is Nalini Fule, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the latest edition of the African Diaspora News Channel, where we unravel the stories that shape our world and our communities. Now, Johannes Wallace, the notorious far-right extremist who was convicted of murdering the anti-apartheid icon Chris Hani, is actually set to be deported back to his native Poland. Now, this news, while legally inevitable, has struck a nerve in a country still grappling with the painful legacy of apartheid and the unresolved scars it left on so many of us, right? Now, Wallace, who is 71, gunned down Chris Hani outside his home in 1993 at a moment when South Africa was on the edge of monumental change and actually preparing for the country's first democratic multiracial election. His assassination, driven by a vile and racist ideology, actually threatened to take South Africa into a civil war. Now, it's a moment that has etched into the collective memory of all South Africans, and for many of us, it still remains one of the most painful chapters in our journey towards freedom and equality. Now, the announcement that Wallace is set to leave South Africa on Friday night with the Polish government covering his deportation costs has left many of us questioning not only just the decision itself, but what it actually represents. Now, the South African Home Affairs Minister, Leon Schreiber, has framed this as a very painful day, and honestly, I can't help but agree. But for me, it's not just about the legalities of the matter, it's about the sense of justice, or the lack thereof, that continues to haunt us as Black people. Now, Wallace was released on parole in 2022 after serving almost 3 decades in prison. Now, his release, created outrage and protest, especially considering that he has never expressed any remorse for the murder of Chris Hani. Not once has he acknowledged the depth of the pain he caused, the pain that continues to ripple through families and communities and a nation that is still scarred by apartheid's toxic legacy. Now, it's hard to understand, how after all these years, we can allow someone who so coldly and calculatedly sought to derail our country's progress to simply walk away, to be sent back to Poland without a full reckoning for his actions. The South African government claims it is bound by the Constitutional Court's decision, but that doesn't mean we can't question whether this is truly the right course of action. Let's have a look.
In your top story this hour, Chris Hani's killer Janusz Walus left South Africa for his home country of Poland, a free man, last night. Walus completed his 2-year parole this week. He was released from prison on the 7th of December 2022 after spending 28 years behind bars for killing the leader of the ANC's military wing, Umkhonto weSizwe, and general of the SACP. Politics editor Lukhanyo Qalata has more on the story.
This was perhaps the last time South Africans would get to see Janusz Walus on our shores. But as the moment drew closer for him to step out from the Immigration Services vehicle at the OR Tambo International Airport's protocol lounge, a rather curious set of circumstances followed. A phone call to one of the senior immigration officers. Then, the team of heavily armed men whisked the killer away from our cameras, never to be seen again.
It was never a government's decision. You'll recall Minister Masutla denied the parole. Minister Lamula denied the parole. It went to the highest court, the ConCourt. It is the ConCourt that ordered the parole of Mr. Janusz Walus, the murderer. And with that decision, it also prescribed the period of the parole and also ordered the time that he must be put on the parole. So it was not on government. It was on the ConCourt.
Home Affairs Minister Leon Schreiber assured South Africans that they didn't foot the bill for his ticket back to Poland.
We have made sure that South African taxpayers are not footing the bill. So the flight ticket for this individual to leave the country will not be paid by Mr. Hani's widow or by the people of South Africa. The Polish embassy has undertaken to do so. So it is essentially a transportation process from where he is being held to his escort out of the country, essentially.
Hani's widow, Dimpo, was not available for comment, but in a statement the family released alongside the SACP, she did call for an inquest into her husband's murder. The new Minister of Justice, Mamoloko Kobai, is considering the request.
Honestly, this isn't justice. This is a betrayal. Chris Hani gave his life for our freedom. And what has Wallace given except pain? When Wallace shot Chris Hani, he wasn't just targeting one man. He was targeting the very heart of our democratic ideals, the promise of a future where all South Africans could live together in equality. And yet here we are, faced with a situation where the man who did this seems to be walking away free from his actions that have been largely unaccounted for. Now, you'd be shocked to find out that he's actually still a hero, especially among the far right in Poland who have made merchandisers out of his image. Now, this is honestly an ideology rooted in hate, which is an ideology that continues to thrive in some parts of the world. And it's deeply troubling that Wallace's actions are still celebrated by extremists, even though the man himself has never once shown any remorse. In fact, his words, his justification for the murder only confirm his deep-seated racism and his desire to bring South Africa to its knees. And Wallace's deportation without a full inquiry into the conspiracy behind Hani's murder is, in my opinion, an incomplete resolution to a chapter that is yet to be fully written. And we owe it to Chris Hani, to Dimpo Hani, and to every family torn apart by apartheid's brutality to ensure that justice is not just a matter of legalities, but it must also be about accountability, healing, and honoring the true meaning of freedom. Now, Wallace has truly deprived South Africa of one of the greatest leaders, even if I say so myself. And so, as Wallace leaves South Africa, let us not forget the lasting pain of that bullet that killed Chris Hani. We must continue to honor his memory by demanding that the full truth be told and justice be served, no matter how long it takes. Now, that's just my opinion. What is yours? Please, let's continue the conversation in the comment section. And while you're at it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That's it from me. Till we meet again, it is goodbye for now.